on the flip side, right? Okay, you know he's in the role of a civil servant. Then you get Ong Beng Sing.
Yeah.
Right. What if, okay, for whatever reason, this sort of relationship building was essential to bringing F1 to Singapore?
Exactly. It's like the guy who's like telling the wife, I really don't want to go to a KTV lah, but really bo pian lah. The client want to go, I have to bring him lah, right? I really don't want to go KTV. I really don't want to go and fondle the girls there, that kind of thing.
But if we get this client, we can buy the house we always wanted.
Yeah. We can set us up for life.
Set us up for life. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, babe.
I have to go KTV tonight.
If he wants me to be with 5 girls. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala.
But.
Your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what? There's
good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
Too bad nothing happened this week. We got nothing to talk about.
It's been a quiet week, yeah.
It's been a quiet week. Hotly anticipated Yala Butt episode, right?
Yeah. And quite the timing is quite perfect, right? I think it everything broke on the day that in between our recordings, right? Just nice. It was set up just for this.
Just nice. There was time for people to message us and put on Reddit, guys, can you please cover this? And we're like, the moment it came out, I think you and I both knew, all right, topic settled for Friday.
Yeah, I got my bat suit on. And
you got your bat suit
press the button, enter the
your
bat
chair
cave.
turned around, go to the bat cave. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was cool that a lot of people wanted to hear what we have to say about it.
Yeah.
Although every time that happens, I'm always like, why do you want to? Why do people want to hear the two of us talk about it, lah?
Yeah.
I mean, do you ever get that imposter syndrome sometimes?
Oh yeah, of course, all the time.
Oh really?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Then you still love to talk so much.
Can you imagine if I didn't have imposter syndrome? Dude, you won't get any word in at all, no?
Yeah. If you were like just a little bit more confident about who you were, it'd be impossible
to talk. It'd be Yala Butt with Harish and maybe once in a while Terrence.
Yeah, once in a while.
Correct. Yeah,
the ratio will be like our intro like that, basically. Right, the ratio of number of words you say versus how many words I say.
Be grateful for the moments of imposter syndrome.
Okay.
Yeah, be grateful.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know for certain podcasters I follow, back at the time when I was listening to Joe Rogan more, anytime there was something in the news, I would want to hear his take.
Yeah.
And Philip DeFranco, I want to hear his take. So it is an honor that people want to hear our take.
No, and I think at the end of the day, you and I, we are digesting the news as much as anyone else.
Yeah.
We are reading, we're processing, we're looking at what people are saying and all. So it's just a nice way to just bounce it off each other, right? Yeah. And then sort of like find out little facts that we might have missed. Right?
Until we get invited onto CNA and just say stuff that is extremely obvious and does not provide any value at all.
I felt like there was a dig at somebody. Who's that? Who's that person?
I mean, it's the associate professor from SMU, Eugene Tan. I can understand he's working under restrictions and maybe he can't speak freely. Because I would like to meet him outside of the studio and hear his honest thoughts. Because every time he appears on CNA, it's like it's like stuff we already know, but you're kind of rephrasing it and all that, lah.
In fact, maybe it might be cool to get him on the podcast, right?
Oh yeah.
To have him really just speak with more unfiltered thoughts. I think every time during the election, he's sitting there giving his hot takes for hours on end. Yeah. But the problem with those things is that you only can give snippets, right? Every time.
Actually, we should get him on.
Yeah, we should get him on. It's almost like he's almost sometimes a caricature of what the hot take on politics is in Singapore, right?
Yeah,
saying a lot of something about nothing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And even in the comments on YouTube, people are already feeling it. So yeah, maybe we should reach out. Maybe he come here, he's like, guys, I've been needing this, and he takes out a cigar, finally can speak freely.
Yeah. It could be.
But interesting, so many things to consider.
Yeah.
But
before jumping into it, right?
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you have to tell people?
That if you're listening to this podcast, watching us on YouTube, if you're new, if you've been listening to us for a long time, it would still be wonderful if you could tell at least one person who may not have heard about us, because that's how we've been growing. Follow us on social media, turn on your notifications so that you know whenever a new episode drops. Help us fulfill our dream of reaching 100,000 YouTube subscribers by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And what else?
If you want to work with us or just reach out to us, email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com. That's right. Email, the most primitive form of messaging.
Email. We will reply.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, man.
But yes, let's jump right into the hot topic on everyone's minds.
Right from yesterday morning itself, at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
News dropped that former Minister of Transport S. Iswaran was arriving in court to be charged with multiple offences.
Yeah.
And that started, I think, 8:10 a.m. on January 18th. He arrived at court.
Yeah.
And I think, like people were talking. Some of my friends were messaging me saying, are you keeping track of the live feed? What fucking live feed? But there was.
Oh, of him just walking.
No, like arriving 8:10. 8:20 enters. It's 8:27. Him and his lawyers are talking. So it was really like, oh shit, play by play, man.
Yeah, I guess the media already was briefed that this was going to happen, right? And that's why everything came out like pretty much the moment it happened in the morning already.
Yeah, because there was a flurry of like reporters also there already, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, like the court date has been set, I think, for March, right? March. Yesterday was just like hearing the charges.
Apparently it's called mentions or something like that.
Mentions.
Yeah. So that's what lawyers would say, like, it's just mentions.
Oh, I see. Mentions.
Yeah.
Yeah, mentions. So what was mentioned was 27 charges in all, relating to his interactions with property tycoon Ong Beng Seng,
yes,
who owns the rights to the Singapore Grand Prix and is the chairman of the race promoter Singapore GP. So then after that, actually, he resigned from Iswaran resigned from his positions in government on Tuesday.
Yeah,
but I didn't. Do you know about that?
No,
I only thought it was like yesterday or something.
Yeah, I didn't know about it. Yeah,
yeah. So he resigned, and PM Lee acknowledged, and he sent another statement which we will go into. But yeah, by I think noon, like Singapore was left grasping for what this is going to mean for the future, lah.
Yeah.
But for you, what was your recollection of that whole morning yesterday?
It was just a real flurry of things coming out, right? Trickling out. First was Iswaran appearing in court, and then the list of charges against him, and then the list of things that allegedly he obtained as gratification, and then also like all the little details about his letters, his exchange with PM Lee, which indicated that he was going to fight the case.
Yeah.
And then the photos of him appearing next to Davinder Singh, the top litigator in Singapore. All these things are coming out, and just even the details about the exact musicals and the football matches he attended, the number of tickets he got for each like F1 race. And so it's just a trickle of information, and then statements from the MTI about, this year's F1 race, and statements from the West Coast team from BAP about how they're handling the transition. So, it's just a flurry of activity. And I think at the end of the day, I went to rabbit hole like late last night trying to digest everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, essentially, there were 27 charges. So, let's see, 27 charges, of which 2 are for corruption under the Prevention of Corruption Act, PCA, 1 of obstructing justice, and 24 for obtaining valuables as a public servant under the Penal Code. We can talk about the differences between the 3.
Yeah.
But actually, no, maybe now we talk about the differences first.
Sure.
So what is your understanding of the difference? There's the PCA.
Yes.
Then there's obstruction of justice. And
Section 165, right?
Section 165 of the Penal Code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we are not lawyers.
Yeah,
just disclaimer, we're not lawyers.
Yeah.
But my general understanding of it was that those 2 charges of corruption means that you obtain some gratification in exchange for giving some kind of advantage, right, to another party, right. So it's like it's more outright kind of corruption, right? Where there's a very clear exchange of favors or whatever. Whereas those 24 charges are basically like it applies to all public servants, where you would the moment you get any kind of gift above $50, you are supposed to declare it, or even just reject it outright, or pay for it yourself or what, right? Pay the government for it, right? So those are like even if you don't end up receiving or giving any kind of favor to the person, you're not supposed to take those gifts and enjoy them in your personal capacity,
Yeah.
And then that one charge of obstructing justice, I believe, was, I think in May, I think he tried to pay back the race promoter, the private limited. What Singapore GP?
Singapore GP,
private limited, right? He tried to pay them back for the business class flight ticket back from Doha to Singapore,
yeah,
which was like $5,700 or something.
But why is that considered obstruction of justice?
Because I guess my guess is by then there was already an investigation going on, and then if there's an investigation going on, you should not be moving money around or trying to cover up your tracks and all that.
Yeah, correct. I mean, that was my understanding also. So with that context, that obstruction of justice, pretty clear. PCA is like you are receiving something
knowingly in exchange for
something specific, right? And Penal Code 165 is just receiving shit in general.
As a public servant.
Yeah, as a public servant. So of those 27 charges, the one obstruction of justice is pretty clear. Then 2 for under the PCA, right? It is that in his capacity as a minister, he obtained shit from Ms. Ong Beng Seng worth 145,000 for advancing Ong Beng Seng's business interests relating to a contract between Singapore GP and STB. So that's the first one. And then the second, and also that there were 10 green room tickets, basically admission tickets to Formula One.
Yep.
Then the second one is that he also received some stuff from Ong Beng Seng in exchange for advancing business interests over a contract with basically another government contract, as well as a proposal with STB to establish the ABBA Voyage virtual concert in Singapore. So those two things, they were very clear things that I think the prosecution feels he was receiving in order to do. Right? And then for the ones under the Penal Code, that's where it gets like tickets to the show Thriller, tickets to the show The Curious Incident of the Dog, tickets to football matches in the UK, tickets to Singapore Grand Prix, all like small. The tickets for The Curious Incident of the Dog was 2 tickets, £135 each.
Yeah.
So there are 24 such instances, and you read it, you're like, okay.
He's a man of culture.
He got good taste. Yeah.
Or he just watches everything, right? Like everything. There's like Harry Potter, there's
Kinky Boots,
Kinky Boots, Back to the Future. So
Hamilton.
I can't discern any certain kind of like, I like this certain kind of thing. It's like almost like everything he just watches.
Yeah, and it came through Como Holdings UK. So that was basically is the tickets through Singapore GP and Como Holdings.
Yeah.
So those are the 27 charges, and he has pleaded not guilty to all of them.
Yeah. And he stated, I am innocent.
Yeah. And then there was also an exchange between Davinder Singh. So, Davinder Singh is, I guess, seen as one of Singapore's, if not the best litigator, right?
Yeah.
He's like legend. He defended Lee Kuan Yew last time.
No, as in he represented Lee Kuan Yew and Lee Hsien Loong in civil lawsuits.
Civil lawsuits.
But I think what he's probably most famous for is blowing the lid off NKF when he represented SPH in the when NKF was suing SPH for defamation back in the day. He was he was basically on SPH's side, but he ended up with everything that he did was so well researched and so well strategized that it blew the lid off NKF, and NKF dropped the case within like 2 days of trial. And after that, you know what happened to Titi Durai, the whole board of NKF as well.
So I think he has a legendary status. Anyone who has friends in law, you ask them about Davinder Singh. I mean, I'm always curious and always like, he's a damn good lawyer. Personality, not that aside, he's a damn good lawyer and he's scary. So he's defending Iswaran. And there was an exchange in court also that it was quite interesting. So basically, after Iswaran appeared in court, then there was an exchange between the judge and the lawyers. So apparently there were the CPIB charged Iswaran with 36 charges. But in the end, the AGC, the Attorney General, said, okay, they did not take into account 9 and kept it at 27.
Okay.
So Davinder Singh was talking to them how come it reduced from 36 to 27? And a very formal exchange. Did you see?
No, I haven't seen that.
The quote in CNA is I would like to know from my learned friend whether the prosecution is proceeding with the remaining 9 charges. And then there was this exchange. Everything is according to my learned friend, I thought, the evidence would have been reviewed thoroughly before the 36 charges were leveled against my client. And all I would say now is that it is surprising but highly significant that after what I assume was a thorough review, in a matter of 2 days, there was a leveling of the 9 charges. Then they go about it is significant and all that. So I think it just gives a peek into like, okay, this case is building lah. Everything is going to be watched. And for me, the most interesting thing was like Iswaran pleaded not guilty to all.
Yeah. And in a statement, he said, "I am innocent and will now focus on clearing my name."
Yeah. And then he also said he will pay back all the monies earned, right?
From the moment the investigation started.
Which was July 11th. I think that's when he was arrested.
Yeah.
So since July 11th, he was arrested. He returned all the monies as an MP and also a minister.
He had a reduced monthly salary of $8,500.
As an MP, right?
No, as a minister. He still had a full allowance as a minister.
Oh, as an MP. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was basically the minister's salary, I think it's like $55,000 a month. He basically only got $8,500 of that, which was debated in Parliament and all, right? And then, but he still had the $16K MP allowance every month.
Which was also debated in Parliament.
Which was, I think PSP filed a motion to suspend it, but it was voted down.
Yeah.
So I think in total, like he's returning $167,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly the amount, but he's returning the amount.
Yeah. So that's basically the facts.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I don't know whether there's anything else that has come out like that's factual. Lawrence Wong gave a doorstop interview saying like, this will be like, we cannot compromise the integrity of Singapore. This will be treated with utmost, I'm paraphrasing, but like it's going to be, it's this serious shit.
Even if we take a political hit, it's worth it.
And he said there will be a hit on morale, right?
Yeah.
But with regards to succession planning, he said, no, we're still on track. It will happen before the next election and the next PAP... What's the gathering called? The end of year convention or something like that.
Forum or something, is it?
A gathering, convention. Yeah, but basically like November or December. Just the succession will happen then. With regards to the elections, it will be considered. So he didn't give word on that. But he made it very clear that we will not take this lightly and we are going to do everything we can to make sure that our integrity is upheld. So, with all that, okay, we got the facts covered.
Yes.
What are your thoughts, Terence? So what have you heard or what's been percolating in your mind?
I think the first thing that came across my mind, and probably a lot of people you see online, is the total amount of money seems small.
Yeah.
Compared to what he earns, annually as a minister and everything. I won't reduce it to peanuts, because that's, obviously it's still not a small amount. But it's not even in hard cash. It's like in gifts, right? Of experiences, of he's not going to spend, he's not going to use the 10 green room tickets or the F1 for himself. Obviously, he was inviting other people, right?
Yeah.
So it's not even something that immediately you can use to gratify yourself. It's more like, it's almost like experiences and even the hotel stay or going to Doha and flying on Ong Beng Sing's private jet and flying business class back. Yeah, again, not something that you can sell for monetary value yourself.
Yeah.
So I was quite surprised that it was the total charges and all leveled against him came up to a small amount. Because you look at the two previous cases of high-profile cases of corruption from ministers. This was like in 1986. The amount was like $800,000 in 1986. So imagine how much that is today, inflation.
Yeah.
Then the previous case before that, I think 1966 was also in the realm of like
a million,
close to $1 million.
$1 million back then.
Yeah, back in 1966. So those were big amounts compared to what is being here, and those were like monetary benefits, right? So this one is like, it's all gifts and experiences. So I was quite surprised.
Yeah.
How about you? Like, what do you think when you first heard of this?
I mean, same thing. It's like, because right across the causeway, we have like, the Najibs and the Jolos and all.
Yeah.
Where literally like Rosmar's handbag itself is a few $100,000.
Yeah.
Right? We're talking billions now. Right? The book is called $1 Billion Whale. Right?
Yeah.
Yacht parties, Miranda Kerr, funding a Wall Street movie.
Yeah.
But then this one is watching Curious Incident of the Dog. So it does feel like, fuck, man, like, are we so textbook that even our corrupt politicians are like, okay, we just take it easy, don't rock the boat.
Yeah.
But going down that path, it almost feels like, maybe there's something more to this. Like, maybe this is the facts. Is it justice? Is there a lot of stuff brewing underneath? And then that's where you go down the rabbit hole of like, oh, what could this mean? what are the implications? What's the backstory? Yeah, so it felt like because even when he paid back the monies as an MP with reduced salary, MP and a minister with reduced salary, it might even be something similar to not as much as this, but it's like half of the total amount that he received, right?
Yeah.
So it just feels like what is going on?
I mean, one thing to remember is like what you mentioned earlier, the AGC probably will only bring charges to in an instance where it knows or it has very strong evidence that it can get convicted, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of these things, sometimes the flow of money, or that, keeping records and all these things, it's not 100% on that, right? So all we have are like in these cases, it's very clear who provided the money or who paid for the gifts, right? Like they mentioned Como Holdings, UK, or Singapore GP Private Limited and all that. So it's very clear that those came from these entities.
Yeah.
But yeah, were there any other personal kind of things coming from Ong Beng Seng or whoever? We don't know, right? And we don't know because maybe there isn't enough evidence to support all these allegations.
Like the other nine, right?
Yeah, the other 9 charges. So only these, we're very sure that, I mean, at least it seems like they're very sure that these happened, right? And the fact that everything's laid out so clearly, even down to like which musical he went to watch, right?
Yeah.
Tells you that we got the receipts, we got the receipts,
Yeah.
So yeah, like what you said, it could be the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. I guess even like, when I found out, Joe Lo had interactions with Leonardo DiCaprio, it almost felt like, oh shit, is Leonardo DiCaprio in on this? Then I was like, wow, was Hamilton on this? I mean, no lah, definitely not lah. But it's like, the mogul is making his rounds.
Yeah.
But then also like, the 36 to 27, suddenly, I mean, this is again
like 36 to 27 charges.
36 to 27. Okay. Maybe they saw, oh shit, it's Davinder Singh. Okay, reduce. That's probably not the case. But I saw the funniest thing that made me laugh out on Reddit was like, Davinder Singh, someone, is like Better Call Singh.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, Better Call Singh, yeah.
Which is like, Better Call Saul, Better Call. Yeah. I fucking burst out laughing, man.
But people pointed out that Saul Goodman in Better Call Saul was a criminal lawyer. Like, he was a criminal and a lawyer. And he was doing a lot of unethical things. But Davinder Singh, this guy is top litigator. I mean, he's gonna fight in court for you, and it's not about like all the illegal shenanigans that Saul Goodman gets up to.
And he was actually an MP. He was an MP representing Toa Payoh from 1997 to 2006. I had no clue.
Yeah.
So he was even like part of the GRC, Toa Payoh GRC as well.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's true. It's true what you said that his reputation, it's got a gravitas.
Yeah.
And part of the reason I went in a rabbit hole yesterday, because I went back to just read up about what he did during the NKF and Titi Durai saga, and the line of questioning and the amount of research that he did, in terms of like calling out inconsistencies in how NKF reported its revenue, how NKF reported or at least how the internal processes of NKF in terms of salary and compensation for its management and things like that. He dug through everything, man, and got all the receipts. And when he laid them out during the trial, it just like, I think Titi Durai basically balls dropped at those moments, just no answer. And so by the second day of the trial,
they stopped, right?
They just decided, okay, we're gonna drop charges, drop this defamation case, because Davinder Singh was blowing the lid off like NKF's inner workings, which caused a huge public uproar. And those who remember back in the day, I think it was a huge scandal, right? And it dragged in Goh Chok Tong's wife, because she made comments about what Titi Durai earned being peanuts compared to what he drew in. But that everything, there was so much, and this was pre-social media, there was so much about it in the news. People were so upset. Like, people went and vandalized NKF offices because of it. All because Davinder Singh, got the act and blew the lid off everything.
The golden taps and all.
Yeah. So it was like, so that's why his presence here kind of makes me sit up. Like, is there, is there going to be a similar kind of situation where Davinder Singh is like going to lay out a very, very, very detailed case that could, possibly put Iswaran under a different light.
Yeah, because I mean, so basically, it like what you're saying. Also, it's not that clear cut, right?
Yeah.
In the sense, like you think, okay, someone accepts this, it's a clear violation of the penal code. Confirm, no chance. But okay, so anecdotally, right? I think anyone who's been in the workforce, dealt with government officials and all, they are super careful about receiving anything.
Yeah.
I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but once we were in a meeting or something, we offered to buy coffee.
Yeah.
Or something, and they said, no, sorry, we cannot.
Yeah.
Right? I know the upper, I mean, the benchmark is like $50. I think Chan Chun Sing said anything above 50 must declare.
Yeah.
But every interaction I've had is almost like very clearly you don't buy shit.
Yeah.
You don't accept shit. Yeah, you don't accept shit, even if it's a drink or something.
Yeah.
And even like, I think when they deliver, those Mandarin oranges or mooncakes and all, no one brings it home, right?
Yeah, you have to leave it in the office, put it in the middle for everyone to take, but you can't take a box home yourself.
Yeah, and if you wanted to accept a gift, there's a whole process you have to go through.
Yeah.
Where there'll be, I think, like some committee or something to decide the value, and you have to pay for that value.
Yeah.
Because like let's say you get some artist who paints like this, wow, it's an amazing thing and like that, and you accept it, you can still take it home.
Yeah.
But you need to go through this whole review process.
Yeah.
And then I found out like that even companies, they have very strict protocols about interacting with anyone, especially government officials across their global offices.
Yeah.
They also have similar policy. Okay, if you have to have a meeting, don't have it like with a big transaction involved. So everyone knows that, right? So then it becomes a case like, okay, for Iswaran to be so clueless about it, right? To me, it's like one or two things. One, he's so blinded by power that, okay, this is the norm, no one will catch.
Yeah.
The other is that there's some stuff going on. Because it just feels weird, right? Like everyone who's at the civil service at the junior levels, they are so cautious. Is it just the case that how, like, Tan Chuan Jin was having an affair with someone in parliament? Are they just so like, okay, we can do whatever we want,
I mean, there is that possibility, right? There are a lot of people in positions of power who you can tell. No, not just clueless, but they get off on the idea that they have more power, right? That they're above the law, above the rules for thee and not for me, right? Kind of thing. And in this case, the accepting of the gifts, right? Whether it's the tickets or F1 tickets and things like that, that clearly is a violation already, right?
Yeah.
I think in very simple terms, not even in public sector, even in private sector, as my understanding, even for MNCs in private sector, all that, even that gift exchange thingy for Chinese New Year is very heavily scrutinized these days. And a lot of companies, like especially in the last couple of years, I think it's like really clamped down on already. It's really because any kind of business relationship, even the MNC with a vendor and things like that, like there used to be a lot of things, that gifts exchanged or I treat you, you treat me kind of thing. But I think in recent years it's really been clamped down on because people don't want to have any kind of leave any kind of doubt about their corruptibility and all. So it's quite clear when you see the number of gifts, everything, that something has gone wrong in that process, right?
Yeah.
That like what you said, either he, there was either this complacency that he didn't care, or it was just like he just felt he was above the law already.
Yeah, because that's why it's interesting, because you just asked the that important question, right? If something goes one way, who stands to benefit, right? So in this case, because I was just thinking, like, what kind of case could there be built? And I saw some lawyers online, share their thoughts on Reddit and all.
Oh, we're not 100% sure that lawyers either, right?
Oh yeah, correct. Supposed lawyers,
some Redditors,
supposed lawyers who use like legal language, sounded like, okay, that kind of makes sense. So very clear, we're not lawyers. We don't know if they're lawyers. But they said one approach is like, okay, let's say the ride out case. On surface level, you could be like, of course, there's some weird thing happening. This is a house from SLA which falls under the ministry that this minister oversees. But the whole argument that got everything cleared was that he reclused himself.
Recused,
not reclused.
Recluse
is like he
stays in. I mean, that's why he could be staying in right out loud.
That's true. Now he's reclusing himself. But during the case, he recused himself. So he recused himself from any decisions that had to do with his own dealings.
Yeah.
So in this case, maybe there's a case that, Iswaran made it a point to recuse himself from anything to do with the contracts and all. So then maybe that would remove, I don't know, the corruption charges. But then the one under penal codes 165 is still there, because he still accepted it. Right?
Yeah. No, and I think in that case, I think, the ride out road thing was it's a question of the process, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it is possible to recuse yourself from a process within your own department, right? But you still follow the process after you recuse yourself. But in this case, I think everything that's been listed out quite clearly shows that it was Singapore GP Private Limited. It was Como Holdings UK that provided these gifts. It wasn't like Ong Beng Sing in his personal capacity as a friend providing this. So that's where, once you're receiving a gift from a private limited, right, as a public servant, then that's where you need to, do I have a arm's length relationship with this company? Like, are they trying to offer my employer, which is the government, right, something, and vice versa? And that's where you need to be very careful already. So, yeah, I also find it like that could be the defense, right, that it was a personal gift as a friend, right, friend to friend, hey brother, that kind of thing. But because it went through a private limited or Como Holdings UK, that's where I think it's tricky to argue.
But I mean, like right now they have the general dates of when this happened. I mean, spent 6 years, right? But maybe one of the defense is like, okay, this was given after the contract was settled already. Because even MTI came out and said that the 2022 Grand Prix was not affected by any of these dealings or anything, right? So then on the flip side, it almost feels like, okay, like, on one hand, you would assume that someone would take precautionary measures to make sure they are not anywhere close to being like accused of corruption, right? But then you look at Tan Chuan Jin, you had the big boss of Singapore telling you don't fuck around, but he still go, right? The Cheng Li Hui also same thing, don't fuck around, but they were like, you know what? Yeah, we get what you're saying, but we're still going to do it anyway. So then in this case, is it more like, okay, they are so blatant, which then makes me think, again, the unanswered question, is this something that's happening a lot? And maybe, because, okay, Lawrence Wong is going to become the next PM, right? If you are becoming the new PM, what is one thing you want to do to fucking show you mean business?
You have to purge any kind of like, ill behavior.
Yeah.
That has happened before.
Exactly. Right? And like almost make an example, right?
Yeah.
Again, speculation. But we've also heard that in the media industry, I've never encountered, I think we've heard that sometimes when people have big productions, they almost hire someone purposely to fire them on the first day.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that?
I've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard that also. Just to show people that, okay, you don't fuck around with me, you are off. But it's all planned, but you show something. So in this case, because I think everyone has a question like, how would this impact PAP's perception for the elections, right?
But at the same time, is that necessarily a bad thing? That people want to come in and clean up the act a little bit, even if the mistakes or what are not as egregious as $1 million payout or $800,000 payout, even if it's a small thing like getting football tickets, getting musical tickets over many, many years, like little bits. Is that a bad thing that's clear? Because, there have been so many examples of this kind of fraud, right, of embezzlement and all that, where it really starts with something very innocent. Like I think I watched the movie recently, Bad Education, where it was basically about a school administrator who realized that, it started with I forgot to bring my own personal credit card. I used the corporate card or the card that the school gives me to buy a donut. Oh, it works. Okay. Did anything get flagged up in the next week by accounting? No, didn't. Oh, then let's just move on and try something bigger and bigger. So bit by bit, it grew into like a massive level of fraud, right? It involved multiple people and big sums of money. So these are things that really can happen, like slippery slope, right? And if anything, you can say that there's been a pattern of it happening across the years with this in this instance, right? It wasn't a one-time weakness or like, I really wanted these tickets for Taylor Swift concert and you don't get them for me. It was like almost like, there's a regularity to it. There was like, he wasn't like, I'm a big Man U fan, I need to watch like I must watch this Man U game. It was like different types of games, different teams, different everything. So there's almost like constantly there was this stream of like gifts or experiences that you could get for this.
Yeah.
And that's what worries me. It's not that the value of one-off of the gifts, it's this stream of, it's almost like there was this tap that was being turned on and off, right? So like you mentioned, this is, we don't know if this is everything there is. There could have been more. There could have been stuff that there isn't even evidence of. I think what's the one big expenditure that jumps out at you the most of everything?
Jumps out. I mean, I didn't know Ong Beng Sing has a private jet.
That was...
but then I'm like, he's a billionaire. Of course he would have a private jet.
Or access to a private jet.
Yeah.
I think the one big thing that jumped out at me was that one night stay in the Four Seasons in Doha. $4,700 for one night. Like, you fly a private jet to go and talk business with somebody. I'm like, okay that happens. You take business class back from that trip. Yeah, okay it took a flight. That's what it costs, right? Business class. But like to stay in the $4,700 suite or whatever it was in a hotel, what was going on in that hotel room?
Maybe it was tourist season, Terrence. Maybe that was the only room left.
Possibly. But 4,700 still. Come on, like that's
maybe
like,
Doha. That's like that's not even presidential suite level, man.
I'm thinking it probably is the presidential suite level, right? But it's like, what? Why do you need a presidential suite in that instance? You could have stayed much cheaper, more accommodated. It's one night. It wasn't even like a big thing. But what is going on in that $4,700 suite? That's what I'm more interested to find out. That expense really jumped out at me.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
But I think just visualizing that, I think if there was one minister who would like play the role of a villain well in a movie, right?
Yeah.
I think Iswaran has like that mafia boss kind of look.
Yeah. And he's lost weight, He lost
weight. I'm sure since July it's been damn stressful for him.
Yeah. But maybe he's been working out. Getting ready for this public appearance.
Getting his guns ready.
Yeah.
No, just thinking about, okay, what does this mean going forward? I actually think it is a taint definitely on PM Lee's reign.
Right, yeah.
Because when Tan Chuan Jin came out, that whole extramarital affair came out, and it was made public that Lee Hsien Loong actually counseled him in 2020.
Yeah.
But he just went on.
Yeah.
Right. So in this case, so many questions like, was this like a norm amongst the ministers? You can imagine all the ministers who maybe like let's say they also did this, their balls and like not other body parts might be shaking now because their subordinates who might have known about it, maybe they didn't whistleblow last time. Now it's like, oh shit, it is really draining the swamp, And it feels like, if there's going to be a change in leadership, where already the past year there's been some questions about integrity, and also the fact that, like let's say minister salaries, right? They're always so high, right?
Yeah.
What is the single biggest reason we have always heard why the salaries have to be high?
Anti-corruption.
Yeah. Then you get someone accepting $270 tickets to watch Curious Incident of the Dog at night.
Yeah.
So then it kind of defeats that, right? That means it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So to send a message, maybe you really need to go, okay, we need to drain the swamp, we need to repair all the damage that has been done to our reputation over the past year and make an example of this.
I mean, but actually I see it, I don't see it as like necessarily that, is that this represents what is going on across the board, right?
Yeah, mine was just speculation, really.
Yeah, it's entirely speculation. Because to me, it's like, it's almost like how would anybody working in public service, do this over so long, right? Accepting gifts. Because I think even for us also, like you said, even in our interactions with middle managers or more junior civil servants and all, we already get a lot of this already. We hear the parameters of what they can and can't do. And the amounts we're talking about in terms of buying coffee is really tiny. It's like $5, $10, whatever, and already people are so antsy about it. So for this to have happened over so long, it points, I think it's like, it really points to me, to someone who maybe really just got lost in that power, drowned in that power. Because I have met people before where I've met people before who somehow in their careers or something, they came to large amounts of money, right? Whether it's like they unexpectedly got promoted to or recruited for a much higher paying position. And just watching the way, the glee with which they, were gloating about their wealth, showing pictures of a house in Australia that they bought, of paintings that they bought. And then after even like just saying really quite tone-deaf things about, like the crazy things like being rich, you actually pay less for things, and just gloating about how his new Amex credit card limit got him free like limousine services to the airport, to and fro, blah, blah, things like that. And you realize, this sometimes like greed, right, can really just cloud some people's minds on that, Not even in terms of just social mores about not gloating about these things probably, but just in terms of starting to feel like because I earn so much, I'm entitled to, I'm special and I'm entitled to things that poorer people can't get. This sense of entitlement, and then that gets them off more than anything. So having seen this in people before, and then just seeing this long laundry list of like even these small items that easily someone in his capacity could afford, right? It kind of I almost felt I saw that person in there, this person who's like, oh, okay, God.
It's not the value, it's just the value. Excess.
Yeah, it's just the excess that makes you feel powerful, that you are walking in those circles where you can ping rich billionaires and ask them for things, That's what gets them off. It feels like, and then, funny thing is now all these selfies that he's taking, that they took together and all that are all coming out, right? And they look so happy, right? They look so happy, like I'm facing big gleeful smile. And then Iswaran also, a big gleeful smile. And you're like, what is going on in those WhatsApp exchanges between the two of them?
But then, there will also be people around him, right? Like certain ticket holders, maybe is directly deal with Ong Beng Seng, but the bigger ticket items, because for administer levels, they have people to help them book their flights and shit like that, get insurance for them and shit. So then it feels like it couldn't just be him knowing this, right? And maybe I'm not saying the people around him enabled it. Maybe they you can totally imagine, right? Sir, maybe I think this one must declare, and he'll be like, don't worry.
Yeah.
And what are you gonna say? Right? You can't tell him, no, you better do this. Of course you can, but then you risk your livelihood and all. So that's why it feels like, it could be he's like so living in such a bubble to the point that even now, let's say it's super clear cut, like this is like the general, the agency has like is a no-brainer for them. Maybe he still feels he has a case.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And that impression he has might also be clouded by what we just talked about, that sense of like being above the law. But and don't forget that, yes, he's the Minister of Transport, which in recent months has not had, Transport Ministry with Simply Go and bus services suspended, hasn't had the best rep. People are saying, oh, the poison chalice of the Minister of Transport. But don't forget, being the Minister of Trade Industry that essentially was there, that brought in F1 to Singapore. That's the fucking crown jewel of our sporting landscape, our entertainment landscape in Singapore, our tourism landscape in Singapore. It's the crown jewel. You must feel pretty fucking like the boss, right? When every September you see fucking everybody, the streets all shut down.
World.
You affected that. Doesn't that make you feel like, oh fuck, man, like this country owes me, man? If anything, right?
That is true.
So that's why I'm saying that don't look at it just like, oh, he's just another minister. I think even between ministers, the stuff that you're in charge of, or the stuff that you brought to Singapore, the stuff that your profile's associated with, kind of matters as well, in terms of how you
actually
you see yourself.
That's true. As opposed to minister for overseeing like M&D, housing. Okay, now we got prime BTOs.
Yeah.
People are okay, prime BTOs, whatever.
Yeah.
But there's no glamour associated to it. This is like what you said, the most glamorous event in Singapore.
Yeah.
Where you get people like Beyonce and all just coming, and you will rub shoulders with them.
You will, You'll be at all the ribbon cutting ceremonies. You are the
man who made it happen.
You are the part of you're one of
the
men.
part,
And maybe even like in some ways you are thinking like, you see the sacrifices I made. I have to make this friendship with this guy, with this billionaire whom I don't even really like or something like that, and then I have to.
But then
it's all
so
part of it,
on the flip side, right? You know he's in the role of a civil servant. Then you get Ong Beng Sing, right? What if, for whatever reason, this sort of relationship building was essential to bringing F1 to Singapore?
Yeah. And that's how business is done.
That's how business is done, Terrence.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it's almost like, it's for the greater good. Look at how much our economy has been spurred on by F1. We had the longest extension in the history, right? I think.
Correct. Yeah.
How many years? The whole global spotlight is on us.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the guy who's like telling the wife, I really don't want to go to a KTV lah, but really bo pian lah. The client want to go, I have to bring him lah, right? I really don't want to go KTV. I really don't want to go and fondle the girls there, that kind of thing.
But if we get this client, we can buy the house we always want.
Yeah, we can set us up for life.
Set us up for life. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry, babe.
I have to go KTV tonight.
If he wants me to be with 5 girls, as they give their TED Talks in their in the KTV, I have to be there.
Yeah, I have to.
But you think about how much it really put us on the map, no?
Yeah.
So then does that count for anything?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, I feel it shouldn't. Because, I don't know, it's like a crack lah. The moment you start justifying like that, right, then the whole system kind of falls away.
Yeah. That's right, yeah.
On a totally tangential side, another thing that stuck out to me, and I know what you're going to say, okay, I tried to remove the lens.
Yeah. The lens. Harsh's favorite lens. The first pair that he puts on every morning.
Yeah. But it just occurred to me, okay, that, we have the public prosecutors, the chief prosecutor, the deputy chief the deputy chief prosecutor and deputy public prosecutor up against Iswaran and his team lah.
Yeah.
So Iswaran, you have Iswaran flanked by Davinder Singh, Navin Tewar, Rajvinder Singh, Shefa Safi Sirbini, and then the prosecution is Tang Kiat Peng, Jian Ke Yu, and Kelvin Chong.
I don't know where you're going with this. Where are you going with this, Harsh? Where are you going with this?
I mean, I'm just saying it's 4 against 3 lah. That's all.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's 4.
Numerical.
So it just felt like the pictures. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but it feels like the Titans and their posses lah. I mean, that has no relevance to the case at all.
I don't see. I don't see the.
For you, it was just
it's all Singaporeans. All Singaporeans.
I was like, wow, this is interesting. Interesting. Yeah. But so many things to do you think this will be the trial's going to start in March, right?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to be long, extended?
I mean, the fact that the Davinder Singh is on it, and it seems that Iswaran is going to fight tooth and nail, right? People online are speculating this could take years. This could take years, which doesn't bode well for
the election.
For PAP's image and its vulnerabilities during the election, right?
Yeah, man.
Because that's something that people can jump on, right? But it's So I think strap in for the long ride, I don't think it's going to be one and done thing or very, very fast. So I don't know. That's why I found the exchange, if you can read the letters between Iswaran and PM Lee, quite interesting. In the sense that Iswaran is still, even in his resignation letter, insisting that he's innocent.
He'll clear his name lah.
Yeah, so to me like that, the 101 when writing resignation letter is to be as impassive as possible lah. Don't burn the bridges and everything. This was not lah. This was even though you all do this to me, everything, I'm still innocent, and I out the goodness of my heart, I'm going to give back the money, all that. So this felt like that kind of resignation letter.
Yeah.
So it's like I think it's going to be interesting.
But the public prosecutions like this, public can go and watch, right?
I believe so, yeah. You can go to court and watch. Yeah. No cameras and all that. But
we got to go, man. It's like Parliament.
But it's going to be a hot ticket. Everyone's going to want to be
a hot ticket. Yeah. Hot ticket for some hot takes.
Queue up in the morning.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's I don't know. And the other aspect, I think the one thing also people are saying that now there's a lot of focus on what Iswaran received, right? But what about the other flip side, which is if they claim that there is corruption, what is the value of the contracts and everything that were pitched? Like the ABBA Voyage musical, which I'm so interested to find out. The ABBA Voyage thing, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what is it like. Like, is it a very, very big deal that's very expensive or whatever, right?
And also on that side, like, did Ong Beng Sing do anything wrong?
Yeah, so we'll I think that's the thing. They haven't decided whether they say they'll deal with him after Iswaran's case, right? But, whether to charge him or not.
But I mean, off the top of my head, I think being a civil servant in public service is very different from being in business.
Yeah.
Because you can argue that what he did is just part of business.
Yeah, entertaining VIPs.
Yeah. And for anyone who says no, you can still do business without building relationships, that's bullshit,
Yeah.
It can't just be purely transactional unless you run like some e-commerce website where you don't have any relationship with your customers and all.
Yeah, because some people are also saying that maybe these are not even like the tickets that are, specially bought and given to Iswaran. Maybe they're like literally they have these tickets because they buy tickets all the time and they're just leftover tickets, just give away. Like the F1 tickets, a lot of times they can't sell everything also because, they're expensive, right? So they just give to VIP guests if you want. So I don't know, man. But I mean, those tickets for F1 for like green rooms and all that,
like 1,000 plus each, right?
Yeah, those are, I think they come with like food and like entertainment and all that as well. It's not just like walkabout tickets where you go and you walk around and then watch the cars zoom by, and after that you go to the Padang and watch a concert.
That's like, it's not.
These are like VIP rooms, with buffets and alcohol and all that,
Yeah. But yeah, like it's gonna be a long ass ride,
Yeah. But I'm just I'm glad that this has, like we talked about, this having to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And it's a lot earlier than I thought it would be. I thought it would be like a couple of months from CPIB closing its investigations.
Yeah.
And then the AGC.
Because Chan Chun Sing just said like last parliament sitting, right?
Last parliament sitting just saying that, they will now decide what to do. So I thought, okay, well, probably a couple of months. I think, wow, this just came out like that.
And as much as it feels like, oh shit, it's another scandal in Singapore politics, I actually think it's a good thing.
What?
For Singapore.
Yeah.
Because we have not really been tested. The system of integrity has not been tested. The past year has seen like a few taints in the PAP's reputation.
Yeah.
And they're always, if you're white, you have to be whiter than white, you're whiter than white, and they will uphold the integrity. But this is a test.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot that we are going to learn from this.
Yeah.
It's going to be like something that forges our nation.
Yeah. I think one of the funny memes I've seen is the one where like there's a photo of Najib laughing alongside his associates. What? You mean their corruption was just like football tickets and concert tickets? I mean, this is Najib in the face of 1MDB. Talk about billions of dollars in the global financial system and all that. Yeah.
But if you think about it from an external perspective, the fact that a minister is being charged in court for that is also to other countries like, oh shit, Singapore means business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot that we can gain from this. It's just what happens, and yeah, it's because the last case, I think there was 1996 case. That one had a very sad ending,
86.
1980. The politician who committed suicide.
They Chan something. Yeah. He basically committed suicide before he could be charged.
A month after it was made public, he committed suicide. He left a suicide note, saying he feels bad about what happened, and as an honorable man, the only path he can take is the highest penalty, and he killed himself.
Yeah, correct.
And you look at it, you're like, oh fuck, like that. I mean, for someone to kill themselves as opposed to being tried by law for things they did that was wrong, that's insane.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's a test, but this guy wants to challenge. Breaking, like trailblazing, man. So we see.
He's brought the big guns with him also.
He's brought the big guns.
Yeah. Of like, I'm completely color neutral. I don't see any color.
Yeah, of course.
The color of the guns don't matter.
It's
only you, Harish.
The big gun. The big gun. The big gun.
But yeah.
We still got one more topic to talk about.
We do. This one also about like big guns taking out smaller fish, right? And literally smaller fish. But what is this goofy topic about?
It is the news that an owner of some fish has had her fish attacked by otters again.
Yeah.
A year since the last attack happened.
Yeah.
And this time there were 10 arowanas that were killed. The otters entered the property January 17, 2024, around 7 a.m., made it way into his house, and then they killed, I think, 10 arowanas. The owners have 6 left, and each of these arowanas are like $1,000 each.
Yeah.
And they didn't even eat the full arowanas. Yeah. They just tore some of the eyes, some of the gills, and they left one in the house.
Yeah.
And this is a year after her house was attacked, where she lost 40 koi and fishes.
Yeah. Again to otters, right?
Again to otters. Yeah. So yeah, it just feels like, wow, this is the second time in 1 year. God damn. Yeah. So I mean, it's sad that they had their property, the fishes killed. But why do you want to talk about this?
I mean, it came out as a news article on Mothership. But I guess my big question was like, the last headline of the last Mothership article was when it first happened in October 2022. Was that otters kill over 40 koi and fishes, leaving Bukit Timah resident too traumatized to rear fish again. So I'm surprised that after that, this same resident decided to go and get 16 arowana for like $1,000 each. And then this all happens again. And then, it becomes another news thing again and complaining about it and all that, right? So I'm like, at this point, it's like, how much sympathy you have for this resident?
I mean, the house has 2 ponds, right? And she did say that after this, they're going to stop because to fence it up even more is going to take major renovation.
Yeah.
But can you imagine if maybe after last October or December, they're like, you know what, I think we are we
emotionally ready to have fish again.
To get fish, and then otters come again.
And this time the otters added insult to injury by entering the interior of the house.
Oh, and they left one there, right?
Yeah. Because the pond apparently leads into the house as well, so the otters could swim through.
And they
wet the floor and everything. So.
Can you imagine? Because if she stopped the fishes after the otters, then it's almost like you're kneeling down by the bowing to the otters, So it feels like, I mean, I don't blame her for getting more. Nothing happened for like a year-ish.
Yeah.
And the otters came again.
Yeah. But what do you think is what are the rules of engagement if you see an otter attacking your pond of expensive
Actually, I have
fish?
no idea, man.
Do you think it would be justified for you to attack the otters?
Attack?
Yeah.
Wow, that one... I attack, you mean with a broomstick or just hit them or throw something?
Yeah.
I think if you see them kind of eating your fish and all that, then I think
Yeah.
Yeah, because we always see these videos, people taking a snake eating a monkey in nature. They're like, leave it. That's nature.
Yeah.
So if the otter is eating a koi, that's nature.
That's nature.
That's nature. This is a new habitat.
Yeah.
That's nature. Don't interfere with nature. But that one, I think, different.
Yeah, but I mean, it is nature. It is.
It's true, it is.
I mean, a fish, regardless of what you pay for it, a fish is a fish, right? And then it's the otters have entered private property, but it's like a bird flying to your private property. What can you do? So, right? You can't do anything, right?
But if a bird is poking your wife, you won't be like,
chase it away, chase it away.
That's nature.
Yeah, you can chase it away, but I'm just saying you can't catch it and imprison it and all that. Yeah. Because I think otters are are also protected somewhat, right, in Singapore. If I'm not wrong. So it's there's not much options except to probably better fortify your house if you really want to keep more fish.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they are lobbying against banning otters or something.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just one of those houses. Every house, you got pros and cons, right? Your house might be facing the early morning sun.
Yeah.
This one, you're just at a higher risk of otter invasion.
Yeah. Because she did say that they did leave the ponds empty after the last attack, but they gradually became infested with frogs. So as such, she decided to keep arowanas as she believed they're not really a favorite of otters. So I mean, I guess she maybe did a little bit of research or something and found that otters don't really eat arowanas. Also she thought.
Fuck, man. And yeah, it came probably a big ass group because they left the the floors wet and all.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, these otters. really do whatever the hell they want, man.
Yeah. And I've seen them swimming in condo pools, literally, like with my own eyes and all. It's quite like, the Singapore is their playground. No?
But NParks previously said that the presence of otters in residential areas is likely to be transient. Doesn't seem very transient.
And they come back.
So maybe like for the residents, so she got some sort of assurance that, okay, this is a one-off.
Yeah.
You know, like, don't worry, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then boom. But yeah, I think like it's one of those things that every house has downsides, you know. And if they really start lobbying for culling and all, then I feel it's not good. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of otters also at this point. I mean, I don't hate them. I don't think they should be culled. Just you have to be more careful.
Yeah. Same lah. When I walk my dogs, if I see otters around, I keep a wide berth.
Because they can.
They will come and chase you. They're that territorial that they will take offensive action to defend their space.
And because they always come in groups, right?
Yeah. In fact, I have been sort of like pack attacked by otters. Because I was walking my dog late at night at Gardens by the Bay. And then he started to, go wild and like barking in a bush or something. Then I was like, probably just a squirrel or something. I just quickly walk. Then suddenly these otters all came out and they form a line, like form a line across like the Gardens by the Bay, the Bay East Garden, that running track area.
Yeah.
Form a line and then started to like advance, like, like army had that fire movement and advance that thing, like 2 at a time, that kind of thing. Advanced towards me and my dog.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, at that point I was like, I really wanted to take out my phone, take photo, but it was like too dangerous because they were quite fast and my dog also was like wanting to jump at them already. So I was like, wow, shit, these guys, they mean business. They're like, last time, at Zook, like all those fights outside Zook, and that you see all that. Now the otters have taken the mantle of that. Yeah.
I think my only interaction with otters was once I was on a date at the beach.
Okay.
Then fucking otters come.
And then?
At like 2 a.m. no.
And then? So
then we had to move lah.
Move to where?
Because they came in a pack. Like we were sitting on the sand.
Oh, okay. But they got disturbed you?
They were coming towards us. Like,
to do what? What were you doing? Eating? At 2 a.m. what you're eating?
I mean, just chilling on the beach lah.
Then what threat do you pose to them?
If we are sitting on the beach, the otters are coming in your direction with one pack.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't blame anyone for wanting to vacate. I was like, hey, just chill lah. But
that sounds like a great date night though. Like
it's a good memory.
It's
a good memory.
Yeah.
But I was like, fucking otters. Like, it was perfect. No, like the mood was there, the moon was there, the waves. Allow it, and fucking otters.
But to me, that's like even cooler that you get to see otters.
No, but I mean, they're not in the distance, no. Like, we're sitting there, the water. They literally came out there. They didn't look that cute, lah. Okay?
Okay.
They were big and like there was a bunch of them. It's like the family of 13 all just came out.
Wow.
Then we had to go.
They cock block you that night, lah.
Cock block. Fucking cock blocked by otters.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But so that was my only interaction with otters.
But I think if anything, I think this resident should think twice about rearing fish in her place, lah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I think she have to get like birds or something, I know.
Yeah. Or big dog lah, big dog. Yeah.
A big dog, correct.
Well, but end up like the otters fight the dog.
That's true.
That could be worse.
Yeah. Oh well.
But on to happier things. What is your one Shiok comment?
Okay, wait. Do you have yours in front of you?
I have it. Yes. Wait, do I have it? No, actually, yes, I do. Wait, do I?
Oh shit!
No,
wait.
I don't.
Yeah, I'm also looking.
Yeah. I don't have mine immediately, but I'm pulling it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. On our last podcast, which was episode 481, I think it was the people were talking about the initiative to list budget options around where you live. So Singaporean had something to say that thanks again for another awesome podcast, great for your daily commute. Thanks for raising this point about crowdsourcing website. And I think an interesting point you put that this website actually sounds like the exploitation of the hawker, passing down the inflationary pressure to the hawker who is sandwiched between an uncaring government and raw material suppliers. So I thought that was like a nice, not say a nice way to put it, right? But a very succinct way of maybe sort of emphasizing why we felt a little bit uncomfortable about it, right? That inflationary pressures are being pushed down to the hawker, and there's not much they can do, right?
Yeah.
And the website seemed to serve as a way of like rubbing it in their faces almost.
Yeah. Because just today there was an article coming out that more hawkers are closing because they can't deal with the rents, right?
Yeah, correct. So yeah, I mean, thank you Singaporean for putting into words a lot of what we were saying also.
Oh, Singaporean. Actually, that's my like one short comment, I guess.
The same one.
No, yours was 481, right?
Yeah.
This was 480.
Oh, okay.
Singaporean, like
on the roll.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it was just very simply answering a question I had, like it was about the Simply Go app, right? Like, one question I had was like why there was a influx of people wanting to download the Simply Go app to the point that it crashed the server, and the commenter just pointed out something, which I'm like, okay, I guess that makes sense. Whenever there's a app upgrade, you would expect that it really is an upgrade, like there's new functionality or something, as in like to move to an app from an offline thing, it's almost okay, what's the new functionality going to be? So that's why even then I would still say that downloading an app, I mean, like, it's like an upgrade, right? In fact, no, maybe I'll be more cautious over an upgrade rather than an app. Actually, app I download quite fast. If I see something, hey, that's quite cool, I'll just download it.
Yeah, you
I download apps quite a bit.
You're an app aficionado.
Yeah. No, I'm an app whore. This one I would say I'm an app whore.
Yeah, you are.
Because I really like trying out different apps and all that.
Yeah.
So in this case, so maybe I was just calling myself out. Why you download so fast? Maybe people didn't. Yeah. So then there was some discussion also about like how else it could have been more seamless, and so now Reddit is popping, man.
Yeah.
It's popping.
I guess all this Simply Go discussion kind of has taken a back seat.
Yeah.
I mean, although now we have a new transport minister.
Who was also talking about the Simply Go thing, right?
Yeah,
Remember we said he should sit on the bus? Now he's like, fuck, now I can't sit on the bus anymore. Or maybe
he has to take the bus every day.
He has to take the bus every day. He's like, shit.
Yeah.
Wow, interesting month for him.
Yeah.
Cool. And what about your Shiok Thing, man?
My one Shiok Thing is just something that came out on Netflix recently, and then I just like binged it all at one go because it was really
Singles Inferno.
No. It was quite harrowing, but really riveting to watch. It's the documentary limited series American Nightmare. I know you heard about it.
It just came out. It just came out. Right?
It's by the creators of Tinder Swindler. But it's about a case of kidnapping, a woman who got kidnapped from her boyfriend's home overnight. And subsequently, it was thought that it was called the Gone Girl case, because it was believed that they actually perpetuated a hoax of her kidnapping as a means of revenge or something to get her boyfriend in trouble who had cheated on her. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of twists and turns in the whole story, and this only happened in 2015, so it was quite recent, and I never knew about this case, but just watching this is just like a lot of twists and turns, and the way they told the story I thought was quite interesting also. Yeah.
Oh shit! How many episodes?
3 episodes, but 3 1-hour episodes, but very easy to just get through because you need to know what happens next.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so that's my one Shiok Thing.
Oh, my one Shiok Thing is also a Netflix show. It's a show that I initially wrote off after one episode, but now I've gone back and tried again, and I'm starting to really like it. It's called Beef. I mean, of course, it just won a bunch.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, you know what? Like, we have discussed this before, right? Now, just watching one episode of a show, maybe you might be writing it off a bit too early.
Yeah.
So I rewatched the first episode and the second episode, and now I'm like, actually, I don't know how many episodes there are, but I actually really like it because it's a very different kind of show. And it leaves you very uncomfortable. And it's also a show where the episodes are 30 to 40 minutes, which is getting harder and harder to find. Like, you just want something that you can watch, like 30, 40 minutes, a comedy or something. And I love Steven Yeun. I don't know about Ali Wong yet, but I think the show actually is a very interesting premise. And the way they edit it, the music, the direction, all quite cool. Yeah, so I'm actually really enjoying it.
After
I shat on it.
After it won a lot of awards.
Yeah, I'm a award
Are you
whore.
aficionado? Yeah.
I'm an award whore.
You're a celebrity.
No, I will totally
aficionado.
accept it. I think I told Tristan, I watched it. I'm like, was there anything? Didn't feel sticky enough. But now I'm giving it a shot because
the awards.
Got some credits.
Yeah.
I won't deny that. Does it make me a whore? Does it make me a glory hunter? Call it what you want.
Yeah, aficionado.
Aficionado. Correct.
You're like Iswaran with his musicals.
Yeah, that's what people who go to watch KTV performing artists will say. I'm an aficionado of KTVs. Because I go there to watch them communicate emotion through their dancing.
Yeah. Or you're trying to close business deals. Correct.
That's for the greater good. For the greater good. Yeah. But that's it. Thanks everybody for listening and watching.
Yeah, it's been an exciting week.
Exciting week. It's going to be an exciting few months.
I don't know about that. Like, I feel like it's going to be one of those like up down kind of thing. Like, you're not going to get like constant stream of like of information about it.
That's true. At least we know much. There's something.
Something to look forward to.
So again, if you are listening to us and you enjoyed it, please share it with one other person. Follow us on social media and
email us. Contact Ministry of Funding if you want to work together.
Sweet. All right. Thanks everyone.